Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a really amazing live stream. We have so much to talk about. Hit subscribe right now. This channel is moving towards 120,000 subscribers. And ladies and gentlemen, the Mueller probe is one of the only investigations in history without a crime. The NSA is moderately confident that the DNC was even hacked. The DNC never gave its 100-plus servers to the United States government because they were hiding the fact that very likely they were not hacked. The notion that Vladimir Putin would hack the DNC to ensure people that Bernie Sanders voters were cheated out of $200 million, the notion that Putin cared more about Bernie's voters than he did. That's bizarre. That's stupid. Only a stupid person would believe that. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people who not only fell for it, but they want to believe it. Hello, Green Party, Rad FM. Hello, everyone. To my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Thank you. The channel doesn't grow as fast, but it's super fun to communicate with everybody. And it's just awesome. There's so much to talk about. And there's so much to talk about. Let's start with Trump's tweet. He actually quoted Judge Jeanine. But when he's quoting somebody stating that the Mueller probe should end, he's already alluded to that many, many times. But here's Judge Jeanine. Bob Mueller, isn't your whole investigation premised on a fake dossier paid for by Hillary, created by a man who hates Donald Trump, and used to con a FISA court judge? Bob, I really think it's time for you to give up your phony investigation. No collusion. And it's pretty obvious, like everybody knows what's really going on. Everybody knows that you don't have, this investigation is an investigation without a crime. There's no predicate crime. Hello, Utah. Hello, Patrish from Utah. Hello, everyone. 300 people, 2 minutes in. It's going to be a great live stream. So let's just go ahead and start this. So Mueller now has really nothing, and the political momentum is on Trump's side. Everything we're finding out about how this investigation got started justifies an end to the investigation, because it's not an investigation. It's a political hit job. The whole thing was a political partisan attack that James Comey of the FBI and Andrew McCabe of the FBI and Peter Strzok of the FBI and Lisa Page of the FBI and Sally Moore of the FBI and Kevin Kleinsmith of the FBI and Agent 1 of the FBI and 2 other anonymous agents of the FBI, likely others within the FBI. There's Rybicki, there's others. That all of whom Trump already exposed, and Judicial Watch and others already exposed. We have the Stop Trump text messages. We have a text message from Peter Strzok saying we need to stop Trump. Trump's a menace. We have an insurance policy. You have Peter Strzok deleting 5 references to gross negligence. In the conclusion the FBI came up with, it said, well, look, she was grossly negligent. That relates directly to U.S. Code 793F. You have all of this information. I mean, just the last, 3.5, 4 minutes right now, you pretty much have, 60% of the information regarding why the Mueller probe should end. Then you have the issue of the DNC paying for Fusion GPS, and Hillary Clinton paying for Fusion GPS and paying for CrowdStrike. So they basically paid for a myth and then paid for a fabricated investigation without a crime. There's no end to their treachery, and they're being crushed by the weight of their own corruption at this moment. On 19 minutes and 19 minutes and 50 seconds in to my last RT crosstalk segment, where I appeared on Spygate, and we'll play it later on. But I stated that the House and the Senate are both going to stay in Republican hands, and Democrats are going to lose in the midterms. They're already, I will be right, just like I was right about Clinton losing the election to Trump, and John Podesta being under criminal investigation because of the Mueller probe. And I wrote about that, and it happened. And just like you and I will be right about so many things, including the fact the whole Russia investigation nonsense is completely fabricated. But when the midterms come, so in early November of this year, you're going to see the most epic meltdown. You're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, the most hate-filled and epic meltdown you've ever seen from a political party. Because just look what happened. This is really interesting. Look how the Green Party was treated after they lost in Ohio. Do you remember how just the other day, they went after the Green Party? They went after the Green Party. They went ahead and they blamed everyone in the Green Party for their loss. But they didn't lose by the margin of error from the Green Party candidate in Ohio. They simply lost in Ohio. Do you understand what is taking place? Okay? It's almost bigger than the Mueller probe and the DNC. Well, all this nonsense. The biggest thing, actually, is what's taking place with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. He should be free. And I'm hoping, God willing, that he testifies, and his freedom is gained through that, through testifying the Senate for the Senate Intelligence Committee. They blame Susan Sarandon. That's right. That's right. They blame, excuse me. They blamed everyone. And what's taking place is the slow destruction, the real-time destruction. Blake, can Congress end it? How does it will how does it will impeach him? Can Congress end it? I think that Congress can end the Mueller probe, I believe, if there's a vote, if there's a bill to end the Mueller probe, but I don't think that would ever I'm not sure if Congress could end it. I imagine it could be with a bill, but I don't think that is feasible. I do think that Trump can end it, and Trump can end it, and he should. I don't believe that the Mueller probe. I don't believe the Mueller probe will last past midterms very long, if at all. I think that at any moment, Trump has the right to fire Mueller. He has Alan Dershowitz, Time Magazine. He has the right with it. Mueller falls in within the executive branch of government. So the president, according to the Constitution, can fire and hire anyone within the executive branch. Let's go ahead and here, Time Magazine. There's a great Time Magazine article. And Alan Dershowitz has stated this also many times, but Time Magazine, can Trump fire Mueller? So, can Trump fire? President Trump is actually allowed to have Robert Mueller fired according to the Constitution. This is Time Magazine, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you the link right here. Time Magazine. And Frank, you're 100% right. Trump is very patient. Trump is extremely patient. A lot more patient than I would be. And he possesses a great deal of, I would say, intuition and wisdom. President Trump is actually allowed to have Robert Mueller fired according to the Constitution. After months of by Lily Rothman, January 26, 2018. After months of speculation about whether or not President Trump might be tempted to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller, who was leading the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election, the New York Times reports that Trump actually did order Mueller fired last June, only to back down after top White House lawyer Donald McGahn threatened to quit. Trump has dismissed the report as fake news. His critics have seized on it. Well, I mean, I think it would be fantastic. I honestly think he should have fired Mueller because then you would have just had an even greater emphasis within the Democratic Party on Russia, and they would implode even faster. The whole Russian nonsense is destroying the Democratic Party. Nobody cares about it. It's not an issue. It's not anything that would help Democratic voters. So Katie Herridge, a professor at Wake Forest University and author of The Special Prosecutor in American Politics, says that's because of a complicated history of the job Mueller holds. The job has gone through many permutations over the years, over the many years since it was first used in response to the Whiskey Ring scandal of the 1870s. But it's important to know the theoretical underpinnings of the president's power over such a position go back to the beginning. In Article 2 of the Constitution, it does say that he has to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. That's the source of his enforcement power, Herriger said. The courts said a long time ago that officers who are executing that power on behalf of the president have to be removable by him. The way the rules are currently written, the special counsel reports directly to the person who appointed him, Herriger says in Mueller's case, that's Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. But again, Rosenstein's power can ultimately be traced back up to the president. So Trump can fire Mueller, he can fire Rosenstein. He can fire Mueller for conflicts of interest, which there are numerous conflicts of interest. He can fire Rosenstein and then get an interim guy at the number 2 to then fire Mueller. He can fire Sessions. He can do what he wants within the executive branch. As a result, just as was the case with Richard Nixon's infamous Saturday Night Massacre, yeah, but that was a cover-up. So the Yahtzee won. Thank you. When this is over, someone should be charged for attempting coup d'etat. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. After all, this is an attempted overthrow of a presidency using false information and conspiracy. What do you think, H.A.? The Yahtzee won. Thank you so very much. I agree 100% with you. This was a coup. This was a media-driven, deep state-driven, media-driven coup. This was a deep state, media-driven coup. And so it's pretty obvious that they're back on the ropes, and it's Trump doing the damage now. The momentum is purely on Trump. So the Yahtzee won, I agree with you. And it was a coup that ultimately failed. Thank God. They went ahead, they said that he colluded with Russia based on a nonsense fake news dossier that BuzzFeed is suing the DNC over. Then you have Bruce and Nellie Oren. We'll get to that in a moment. You have people at Obama's DOJ and FBI working with people outside the United States government. Outside the United States government. To go ahead and try to implicate a candidate. It doesn't work that way. It can't work that way. Because then Trump could do that to anyone he wants. The flip side of this is that Trump then utilizes the same tactics that were utilized against him. And that every single election we have, oh, well, this person worked with North Korea, this person worked with China, this person worked with, any other country. And it's not sustainable. Like all this stuff is not sustainable. The value system on the left that calls everyone a Nazi is not sustainable. The value system on the left that says, if you don't agree with us, then you're an enabler, a sympathizer, a supremacist, every other euphemism possible is not sustainable. This value system, or this mentality that, oh, well, if Hillary does something overtly racist, says something overtly offensive, well, we're going to forget about that. But if it's Trump making any statement at all, he's the epitome and he's emboldening and all of these things. Tamara Friedman, the deep state is sick enough to pull a nuke, but Putin and Bibi would strike back. That's my thoughts. What do you think, HA? I have family in Israel, Tamara, and I care about Israel and I support Israel, but I also want a Palestinian state. I want the Palestinians to have a state of their own, and I want there to be peace. That's what people who criticize me on the left, they never talk about a Palestinian state. They just talk about how much they hate Israel. But I can tell you, I'm 99% sure, Tamara, and everyone listening, there's no way that Israel will ever attack Iran, even though it says that it's possible. You know, there's no way the United States would ever attack Iran, ever. And so that we would never attack Iran ever. Neither would Israel ever. And in terms of Putin, I think that Trump and Putin know, Tamara, I think that Trump and Putin know that the Democrats did this all for power. They were so utterly corrupt. Clinton actually did commit crimes. And instead of having her crimes lead to actual consequences, no, of course I don't. Joseph, no, of course I don't. Of course I don't. And I agree with you. That's a factor there that most people ignore. What I say is the good people of Palestine, the good Palestinian people, you know, the millions of just civilians and innocent people deserve a state of their own in peace. Eventually, I would want a two-state solution. But people on the left attack me because they think that Israel is the only factor preventing, you know, who knows what. The left is all over the place. But I want a prosperous Israel and a prosperous state for the Palestinian people, and that's it. That's not enough for the left. They want to like totally destroy Israel. Veteran Anarchy. Thank you so very much, Veteran Anarchy. Thank you. So Tamara Friedman, I think that Trump, is. Thank you again, Veteran Anarchy. Thank you, Tamara. I think that Trump and Putin basically know what's going on. Trump probably knows a lot more about all of this than anybody could ever imagine. I think that Gina Haspel of the CIA probably gave Trump all the information he needs. I think that General Nakasone of the NSA, I think that you have people around Trump who are a lot more knowledgeable than the media gives them credit for. The media is filled with buffoons and imbeciles. The media is filled with people who pretend that they know everything, and actually they know nothing. Trump has the momentum. He has basically full control of the deep state. And the FBI under Christopher Wray, the NSA under General Nakasone, the CIA under Gina Haspel, the State Department under Pompeo, all of these people are beholden. At the end of the day, they're beholden to Trump. I think that in the long term, Trump has, like I use the phrase a boa constrictor, or the metaphor. He's a boa constrictor. He's just slowly moving around the media and squeezing the media and the Democratic Party. And what you're seeing right now is an inability of the inability of the Democratic Party and the media to outmaneuver Trump. They can't outmaneuver him. They don't. He's complete Teflon. Everything they try to level at him is not only usually pure hyperbole and, you know, without any evidence of anything, but they always end up losing. So tomorrow, thank you. Michael C., knowing Trump could expose them all along, wasn't it extremely foolish to try and take him out? Michael C., but that's the thing. They were completely blindsided. They were just pummeled and leveled by Clinton's loss. When Clinton lost, they had one of two things they could have done. They could have admitted that they were wrong and they were part of the Democratic Party public relations machine, or they could have just said, "Hey, Russia, it's Russia." They didn't explain any Facebook ads that swung any voters. They didn't explain anything else. But this is basically they're grasping on to what they know. They're just so corrupt. It's a purely for-profit, for-power venture, the Democratic Party and the media. The Democratic Party has nothing to do with the value system. Conservatives, the Republican Party does. You can disagree with the value system. I don't agree with everything, you know, regarding conservatives or Republicans, but there's a lot I do agree with, especially the Second Amendment. But see, the Second Amendment is an actual value system that conservatives hold on to. Liberals don't hold on to any value system. By their definition, the Democratic Party is a racist entity. By their definition, and many liberals believe that also, which is actually in many ways the truth. Alexander M. Gonzalez, didn't WikiLeaks put out a video of Netanyahu bragging he made Trump scrap Iranian deal last week? Perhaps. I didn't see the video. Perhaps. But if Netanyahu brags that he made Trump scrap the deal, that's Netanyahu playing politics within Israel, just like every. You know, there are other political groups in Israel, many of them. It's not just the Likud, it's not just Netanyahu, but yeah, I probably did. And what that would be is just you know, partisan politics within Israel. He's trying to say, oh, how powerful he is. But I mean, Republicans didn't like the Iran deal, and the Iran deal was a horrible deal. The Iran deal allowed, I'm going to repeat this for everyone, all 800 people. First of all, I love the Iranian people. Like, I really love the Iranian people. And Persian people I love, and, you know, I think they're absolutely wonderful, beautiful culture, everything. So when I talk about the Iran deal, I don't talk about the people, I'm talking about the government. And the government was allowed to, in terms of ballistic missiles, it was 23 ballistic missiles they were allowed to have that. So ballistic missile tests. So this is an article. And then you have the whole what, $1 billion that Obama allowed them to funnel or utilize an American bank to obtain. But this is Fox News. Iran has fired 23 ballistic missiles since the start of the 2015 nuclear deal. So Iran has aggressively pursued its ballistic missile program. That's how you go ahead and launch a nuclear weapon. That's the delivery system of a nuclear weapon. And they've had 23 ballistic missiles. So this is Fox News. Iran has aggressively pursued its ballistic missile program since agreeing to the 2015 Obama deal, regularly launching nuclear-capable missiles in what critics consider a violation of the spirit of the deal. Well, it's the spirit of the agreement. Unfortunately, it wasn't the agreement. So that's hilarious. It's hilarious. The whole thing is... So It's just James Woods. Yeah, I mean, if ever, you have to follow James Woods. He's hilarious. He's hilarious. James Woods is like one of the great things on Twitter. He is one of the great. Every tweet that he writes, veteran anarchy, leftist tactics fail. Alex Jones' show is still making its way on YouTube, and the Trump train keeps on rolling down the track. Exactly, veteran anarchy. Exactly, and that's the interesting thing. I mean, if you ever like a sports fan, if you're a sports fan, you see like, you know, a boxing match, and it's just one boxer is just trying his best to pummel and the other boxer, but the other boxer, you can tell, is withstanding each blow, each punch, and it's not hurting him or her. There's mixed martial arts and boxing for women too, but the thing is, Trump is continually either like this or like going, you know, trying to evade the punches. And you have CNN, you have MSNBC, you have the New York Times, you have the Washington Post, you have late night talk shows, you have Bill Maher, you have Robert De Niro, you have all of Hollywood. You then have all the subsidiary, Esquire, Vanity Fair, Daily Beast. He still isn't getting touched. His approval rating is going up. Democrats are now 3.9 points ahead of Republicans. Say it again, ladies and gentlemen. 3.9 points ahead of Republicans. Okay, that is horrible. Here are the generic polls. If you want to go ahead, and so veteran anarchy, this is for you and for everyone here. A Real Clear Politics link. Look at the links. Look at the link I sent. Okay, here's another link. Here's another link. 3.9 points. Now, H predicted, whatever, doesn't matter. This is not like a shtick that I have. Oh, I predict whatever. I have a good pulse of what's going on. Am I perfect? No. Am I an oracle? No. I have a good pulse of what's going on. I said that Bernie's movement would be destroyed. It's slowly being obliterated by the same culprits I said it would. Don't need to go on. Don't need to discuss what I discussed last year, a year and a half ago. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Water under the bridge. What I said is taking place. But here, this is for everyone, veteran anarchy, everyone. Do it again. Real Clear Politics. Now, this is, I love it so much. I love it because I have a lot of friends. Most of my friends are liberal, but of course I have conservative friends. And in a funny way, what binds a lot of people is the Second Amendment, even though, like, I'm telling everyone who loves the Second Amendment like I do, trust me, a lot of liberals own firearms and a lot of liberals also enjoy shooting. They won't tell you and they'll pretend they don't. Or what they'll do is they'll fall back in line with the groupthink, but at the end of the day, they'll go hunting. But anyway, so Real Clear Politics. So Democrats, 3.9 points. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all a public relations spin regarding, you can't go, okay, so in May, on May 30th, because I had been saying, by the way, that Democrats were going to lose in the midterms months and months before May, but on TV on May 30th, I made the prediction. So Tamara Friedman, when I was trying to say if the deep enemies try to hurt POTUS or USA, Putin and Bibi are on our side. Oh, I believe that. 100%. I believe that. Putin, Netanyahu, I would say a lot of, I would say, yes, they're on our side. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. Tamara, I agree with you. Because the thing is, like, the notion that another country hacked the United States to inform, not to deceive, to inform the American people. That's something lost on Democrats also, which is why their media-driven, deep state-driven coup did not work. But if you look, ladies and gentlemen, let's just look at the Real Clear Politics again. So go ahead and I'll send it to you again. So tomorrow, yeah, I do agree with you. But let's just go ahead and Real Clear Politics. Okay, so if you look, just do it with me. It'll be an interactive. H.A. Goodman segment. So go ahead, Real Clear Politics. If you don't see the link there, just type in midterm polls. Now look, there's an interactive and Real Clear Politics. There's a little chart here, and it's interactive. You can move it left and right, and you could see how Democrats did from the end of 2017 when these polls were really, really good for Democrats. So when they were moving into the year, there was a 13-point advantage. Wow. And a lot of people have been asking, Danny, thank you for watching from England. Thank you, everyone. And my secret weapon, ladies and gentlemen, so to speak, peaceful and non-violent and non-threatening weapon, or let's say I should say the X factor, the thing that propels this channel, one of the things that propels this channel the most is the people who watch in England, in Scotland, in India, in Pakistan, in everywhere around the world, in Nigeria, in France, in Canada, in South Africa, in Nepal. There's so many people from around the world who watch, and it's just fantastic. I'm really, 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 thank you, Sandra. I'm really, really honored. But see, you can track the Democratic Party destruction, which is fantastic, on these generic poll. Oh, what the heck? These generic polls. So it's an average of all these polls. And in late December, you had Democrats reaching 13 points above Republicans. Went down all the way to June 1st, 3.2 points. Now, what happened? What's one way to decipher, or what's one way to realize how utterly ridiculous and irrational and unscientific these polls are? Okay, Alexander Gonzalez, I disagree about Murray's movement. We haven't begun. Alexander, I respect you 100%. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but just my opinion. But I respect you. Keep on fighting, and then one day you might be a jaded, angry, older gentleman like me. You might be angry and jaded and want peaceful political retribution. Peaceful and constructive political retribution with the utter and complete obliteration peacefully and politically of the Democratic Party peacefully. So 13 points up. Now you ask yourself, well, what happened? Well, there's a good economy. The Russia probe is complete hilarious nonsense. It's a soft coup that didn't work out for Democrats. We're finding out the extent. Bruce and Nellie Orr is a big factor in all of this. She used a ham radio. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, in a little bit. It's like a breakthrough here. To hide from being surveilled. All the old school file cabinets, ham radios. The truckers of this country are like the most secure people. The NSA has nothing on the average American trucker. But what happened? Well, let's see. Peace between North and South Korea. And right when this is May, the beginning of June, ladies and gentlemen, 840 people watching. And I want everyone to remember this. And this is the best way. And with all due respect to all the wonderful polling experts, H.A. Goodman is going to give you the best way to read these idiotic polls. How on earth, if you're looking at, I'll give it to you again because this is really, 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 really important in kind of seeing all of this stuff. Here's the link again. How on earth, if you go from June 1st, 3.2 points up, can someone explain to me how meeting Kim Jong-un and peace between North and South Korea, the beginning, hopefully, of peace, the beginning. Obviously, there's going to be speed bumps. But the naysayers and the just the petty, petulant naysayer, well, it's no, look what happened. It was never, no, Obama hadn't, there was nowhere, we were nowhere even close to, we don't talk about North Korea as, you know, a country that's going to, you know, launch a nuke anymore. Is it a completely peaceful nation? No, but it's not the threat it once was. But how do you go from June 1st, 2018 to all the wonderful accomplishments, whether it's going ahead, good economy, numbers, meeting with Kim Jong-un, which is a breakthrough, exposing all the deep state crazy actors, James Comey, you have the IG report, you have all of these, you have the IG report during this time as well. How on earth do you then go in a couple of weeks to 8 and 7 and 10 and all of that? How do you go from 3 to 8 points up? How does Trump and the Republican Party in the midterms actually lose support? It's all a public relations spin. Some of these polls make sense. Some of them are just pure public relations. Freedom 132209101. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you. Cause of the ban of Infowars, I'm using BitChute more and more. Do you have any other channels over there, my dude? Yes, Freedom 132209101. I do have a BitChute, and I have 3,000 subs there. And actually, Sticks was really cool. Sticks Exenhammer, and he was actually pushing on Twitter to get my sub count to 10,000 on BitChute, which was really, really cool. So I do have a channel on BitChute, although I don't know if my my live streams are being uploaded there. But I do have a channel on BitChute, and it's all my my uploaded segments. I'm not 100% sure if, but I also have a Gab. So if you go H.A. Goodman on Gab, I have a Minds. I actually have a Vimeo, if you could believe, but that's like, did not work out well. The Vimeo is like complete waste. But I have a Minds, a Gab, I have a Steam It. That's a cool one. In fact, but the Steam It, I can't really, I guess I can inform people about my live chats. But thank you. Thank you, Deputy Dog. Thank you. Yeah, so let's see. So, all right. So let's go back. So how do you go from, and this is why we know the media and these polls, it's all this public relations spin. You have good news. North Korea meeting, IG report comes out, shows Trump was pretty much framed. All of these issues, good economy, and suddenly, and now you're seeing finally 3.9. You're seeing a contraction. You're seeing these poll numbers go, and there's even a tie. And eventually you'll see very likely Republicans in many polls up. And then you'll see in November that I was right, and the Republicans keep control of the House, and you might have Jim Jordan, or you might have Devin Nunes, or you might have Mark Meadows as Speaker of the House. I hope it's Jim Jordan. That would be amazing. And then you have basically, you know, it's game over for Democrats. Game over. The Yahtzee won. Trump denuked North Korea only to run away from the Stormy scandal. MSM is on to him. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So Freedom 132209101. Thank you so very, very much. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you so very, very much. Freedom 132209101. BitChute. I do have a BitChute, yes. And the Yahtzee won. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's obvious that that Democrats really can't do anything. they can't really do anything to Trump. There's really nothing that they can do to Trump. There's really nothing that they can do to hurt him. And the reason is because Democrats are so utterly corrupt. Oh, okay, you know what? This is really cool. So on my BitChute, I actually have all my it actually does upload all my live streams. That's pretty cool. So all you have to do is type in H.A. Goodman and Google H.A. Goodman BitChute. And yeah, so all my live streams here are uploaded. That's cool. I'm on my way to 4,000. Thank you, Sticks X and Hammer, by the way. My channel is growing. He helped out on BitChute. But so but let's just listen to Dershowitz real quick. This is 50 years at Harvard, something like that. And he basically, 900 people watching. Thank you. So the 900 people we have. So hold on one second. Let's just.
And you have nothing to lose when you do it under oath because it's just as much. Nice to Mueller. Say you have nothing. Here's whether you're the president of the United States.
President wanted to axe Mueller, and McGahn said, "Can't do it. You do it. I'm out."
Well, it just shows you that everybody should listen to their lawyers, whether you're the president of the United States or anybody else. McGahn's advice was very, very sound advice. Look, the president has the constitutional authority to fire anybody in the executive branch. The Supreme Court has held that. On the other hand, it would have been very...
So Mueller resides in the executive branch. The president has the constitutional authority to fire anyone. He should simply fire Mueller. This was actually 6 months ago, January 29th, 2018. He needs to just simply fire Mueller. And that's it. He just needs to simply fire Mueller. There's no need. There's no need to continue with this nonsense because it's not, it hurts Democrats. And it hurts Democrats because Democratic voters don't care about Russia. They just don't care. They just don't care. They don't care, and it's kind of like this trap that Trump continually sets for them, and they don't get it because they're really speaking to they're speaking to their hardest, the most hardcore base, and they think it's enough. Here's Dershowitz. No case for obstruction against Trump. So no case for obstruction. So here you go.
As an investigation going as well, and
of course that's Dianne Feinstein, who, by the way, had a spy from China for 20 years, right next to her all the time.
It involves obstruction of justice. And I think what we're beginning to see is the putting together of a case of obstruction of justice.
Really? Is that the way it is? Democratic Senator and ranking member of the Senate.
So, Freedom 132209101. Trump said we would get tired of winning. He was wrong. We ain't tired of winning yet. My question is, Mr. Goodman, do you ever get tired of being right? Thank you, Freedom 132209101. It feels good. It feels good for all 900 people watching, all of us, to be right about everything. To be right that Clinton would not win, to be right that now Tony Podesta is under criminal investigation, to be right that the whole Russia, the midterms are going to be Republican, there's going to be a red wave. Well, who knows if there's going to be a red wave? There certainly won't be a blue wave. And you will not have, could you imagine? I want everyone here, since we have, I'm going to go ahead and, so Freedom 132209101, you got me. So I want everyone, all 916 people. Could you imagine? Close your eyes right now. Could you imagine Nancy Pelosi? I call her the Katharine Hepburn of politics. Nancy Pelosi, the Katharine Hepburn of politics. Could you imagine her as Speaker of the House? First of all, if you're a Bernie supporter or Green, you don't want that because that would vindicate and validate all the bullying tactics that have been used against the Green Party. Now, imagine. Okay, so you wouldn't want that. That's my point. Go out and vote Republican. Okay, go out and vote Republican. And you got to get out to vote. This is not, you got to realize something. The fact that Republicans are on pace, in my view, to win, and that I believe they're going to win the House and the Senate again, or they're going to keep control, I should say. They might even gain seats in the Senate. And if Democrats do not gain at least 15, 16, 17 seats in the House, at least, because they need 23. They need 23, okay? But they need 23 and they need to keep all their current seats. So I don't see that. I don't see that because the more that Democrats focus on Russia, the more they call everyone a Nazi, the more all this stuff. I just don't see that. And midterm voters are generally older, generally more conservative anyway. The fact that Troy Balderson won in Ohio, that's not a good. The fact it was close is not a good thing for Democrats because they had complete and utter media collusion, as they always do. And it still wasn't enough. And they lost. The Democrats lost 8 out of 11 special elections. 8 out of 11. 8 out of 11 special elections. So, let's just go here. We'll do it. I enjoy this. Okay. And that's why I say, before we get to the whole 8 out of 11 special elections, there is no obstruction of justice. They're so stupid. The Democratic Party, you're going to get them on obstruction. Obstructing a crime that never happened. Obstructing an investigation they fabricated about a crime that never took place. So if you can't get him in the soft coup, get him in the process, get him in the minutia and the technicalities. So Freedom 132209101, thank you. As always, thank you. I mean, 8 out of 11. 8 out of 11. They've lost and Republicans have won. It's like unbelievable. Like they don't know what winning or losing is.
Judiciary Committee, Dianne Feinstein, who's being primaried, by the way, claiming she sees an obstruction of justice case forming against President Trump. Is there actually a case? Let's ask Harvard Law School professor, lifelong Democrat, and author of Trumped Up. It says still out right now, Alan Dershowitz. Professor, is she right? Do you see a case for obstruction building? No, I don't. And I think if Congress were to charge him with obstruction of justice for exercising his constitutional authority under Article 2, we'd have a constitutional crisis. You cannot charge a president with obstruction of justice for exercising his constitutional power.
You cannot charge a president with obstruction of justice. Thank you, Heartburn. Thank you, everybody. You cannot go ahead. Here is the link. You cannot go ahead and charge a president with obstruction of justice, A, for exercising his constitutional authority, and B, the notion of obstructing an investigation where the investigators aren't even certain of a crime, have zero evidence that Trump engaged in any crime, have zero evidence of the collusion they claim Trump possibly engaged in, and have no idea of what the collusion could be. Nobody is saying, see, Clinton actually did transfer top secret and special access program intelligence from SIPRNet, JWICs, and SCIFs onto servers in her basement. She transferred that, and we don't know how. But you know who knows? Brian Pagliano. He was subpoenaed, and he went like this. He goes, you see this subpoena, Jason Chaffetz? You see this? You see this? Shrip. He didn't go. He was subpoenaed. He's like, nah, I don't care. And then you didn't have MSNBC though with Sam Nunberg. Remember that guy, Sam Nunberg? He was hilarious. He's like, I'm not going. And then finally he's like, yo, fine, I'll go. And then when he was like, I'm not going to subpoena, everyone at MSNBC was like, please, calm down. Think. You don't want to bother to anger the great Mueller, the all-powerful Mueller. You don't want to do it. Meanwhile, it's like you have people in the they didn't have a grand jury. You know what the IG said? The IG report stated that there was no grand jury because of the insane amount of classified and classified intelligence. It was so damaging to the country that they couldn't find a grand jury capable because they'd have to give the grand jury then security clearances, that's all you need to know. This is the biggest, the Clinton email, the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton email, and the fake Russia witch hunt probe myth hoax, hilarious, sad, pathetic investigation are the three biggest scandals in U.S. history. You could be like 1, 2, 3, all of them. Because up until now, you didn't have the United States government turn on another member of the United States with like FBI, DOJ, CIA, State Department, all of these. You didn't have also, people are talking about these back channels. Oh my God, Trump's back channel. The private server was more than just a back channel. It was, well, let's see, a private server. The NSA, theoretically, the NSA did not have any ability to access Clinton's server. That's what we're told. The NSA could access any computer in the country, and they do. And that's why you know that James Clapper lied under oath. But they're talking about the back channels. Look at these back channels. Oh, Trump's back channel. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You had a situation where it was... what? Clinton, with her private server, could have spoken every day and every night to Putin, could have actually given Putin intelligence for money, and that which is the definition of treason. And nobody would have known. We trust Clinton. The world trusts Clinton not to do it. Exactly. And so CrowdStrike was purchased by Clinton to then say, oh, well, we looked at the DNC servers, and oh, by the way, you should trust us because we have, this is the most overt conflicts of interest. You don't allow a murderer to then say, well, you know what, instead of the police, I'm going to go ahead and have my own private investigators who are fantastic, collect all the evidence. You could trust us, right? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. But anyway, so yeah, that's CrowdStrike. And so the United States government is relying on CrowdStrike to make all of its assessments. And even CrowdStrike wasn't certain, but here is Dershowitz.
Fire Comey and his constitutional authority to tell the Justice Department who to investigate, who not to investigate. That's what Thomas Jefferson did. That's what Lincoln did. That's what Roosevelt did. We have precedents that clearly establish that. When George Bush, the first, pardoned Caspar Weinberger in order to end the investigation that would have led to him. Nobody suggested obstruction of justice. For obstruction of justice by the president, you need clearly illegal acts. With Nixon, hush money paid, telling people to lie, destroying evidence. Even with Clinton, they said that he tried to influence potential witnesses not to tell the truth. But there's never been a case in history where a president has been charged with obstruction of justice from merely exercising his constitutional authority. That would cause a constitutional crisis.
And so there you have it. They're like, now they're saying his tweets are obstruction. But you can't have obstruction of justice, A, because it's his constitutional authority, and B, because Comey wasn't just about to find information on Trump. The IG report states that Comey should have been fired. So that's the thing. The IG report, the Inspector General report actually states that Comey was insubordinate, that he was he engaged in all of these breaches of protocol. He shouldn't have pretended he was the Attorney General. And that's the thing. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable. NY Half-Ass Prepper, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. Awesome name. And New York Half-Ass Prepper, thank you so very, very much. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. To my super chat, you are all awesome. Thank you so very much. Thank you again. So now you have a situation. Now, this is really, really interesting. And this is really, really, really important. So Bruce Orr's wife, Nellie Orr, used a ham radio. And don't you love how the old school is just, you know, coming back? Especially with, so diffusion. So here's the Federalist article. Here's the Federalist article. And Nellie Orr, and then of course you get today from the New York Times, because he called Nellie Orr beautiful, and he called, you can't win with Trump. If it's like Trump insulting a female, it's like, oh my God. Then if it's Trump saying they're lovely, it's like, oh my God. So the New York Times is like, Trump's infatuation with the appearance of women. It's like he's actually doing two things at once. He's trying to be nice because he doesn't want to seem too boorish, and you know, he's just going ahead and trying not to just descend upon the women in the lives of these men that he hates. And NY Half-Ass Prepper, thank you again. Awake Canadian, thank you as always on Twitter. Awake Canadian, for your friendship, everything. Thank you. Awake Canadian, you're killing it, HA. I'm shopping for a case of lots of champagne. Yes, yes, Awake Canadian champagne. It's going to be fantastic. You know, stay home that day when Hillary gets charged, because she will. It's beyond she will get charged. But Awake Canadian, thank you. Just enjoy, relax, have a great party. Everyone's going to party. But did Fusion GPS's anti-Trump researcher avoid surveillance with a ham radio? It seems Nellie Orr was well aware of the National Security Agency can interpret and store every communication on the internet. Did that affect your decision to become a ham radio operator? Oh. So, I mean, it's just amazing. Like, Joseph Arbuckle, Nelly, what's your 20 good buddy? Breaker, breaker. That's right. Breaker, breaker. Joseph Arbuckle, yes. I'm going to go ahead and start making the shorter videos. Absolutely. I just have to, you know, I am going to go ahead eventually. But so, all right. So it seems Nellie Orr was well aware. So in the late 1950s, when I was entering early adolescence, I became an amateur radio operator. It was like joining a very large audio-visual club whose geekiness was on steroids. Along with knowledge of electronics and Morse code, being a total techno weirdo was an absolute prerequisite. The world back then seemed to be a much larger place, and communicating with foreign countries via the shortwave spectrum was a challenging and random proposition. So it was fun and exciting to communicate by code or voice with hams in a remote part of the planet, at least at first. Unfortunately, the conversations were combined with to exchanging names and locations, describing the strength and clarity of the other operator's signals, and discussing the type of equipment antenna being used. This never varied. For example, I once had a chance contact with a Christian missionary in the faraway Belgian Congo. At the time, the Belgians were relinquishing control of the Congo. The colonial control, Katanga province, had declared independence, and a bloody civil war had broken out. The missionary briefly mentioned in passing that the communist-backed Simba rebels were lurking about, but so far so good. With that small detail out of the way, he then quickly moved on to truly important matters, such as the fact that he was using a homemade transmitter. Hammerlund HQ 110 receiver, and a dipole antenna, and that was that. It made no difference whether I was communicating with Great Britain, Alaska, Kwajalein, or across the street. The conversation was always the same, and it became mind-numbingly boring. After high school, I let my ham license lapse and had no further contact with amateur radio until a few years ago when I met an active operator at a social event. So I am reading this Federalist article. Alexander M. Gonzalez, my prediction, when Bernie starts picking up momentum, he will be attacked on all sides, and we'll all see you regress back to yourself to defend him. Well, you know, Alexander M. Gonzalez, I respect you, and I respect your vision, and I respect your heart a lot more than I do Bernie's at this moment. I think that Bernie has destroyed his image irrevocably and forever in my mind, but that's me. I don't think I would ever defend. I would defend certain aspects if I see that he's being attacked unfairly, but I would still vote for Trump 2020. But Alexander M. Gonzalez, unless, I mean, Bernie would have to demand the $200 million that his voters, that were stolen from his voters. He would have to, you know, denounce the whole Trump-Russia thing, which is they're used against him. But anyway, Alexander M. Gonzalez, you are awesome, and I appreciate you watching this channel, and I'm pretty happy to still have a hardcore Bernie voter watching this channel. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you, Alexander. So then, upon learning that I had once been a ham, he urged me to return to the fold. I responded by holding up my cell phone and pointing out the obvious. With this little device, I could use voice, email, and text messages to easily and reliably contact anyone else similarly equipped anywhere on the face of the earth. Equally important, I could speak to people who might have something more to talk about than signal strength and equipment. So why in today's world would I or anyone else become a ham operator? Dun, dun, dun. And now we get to the real reason for the ham. This brings us to Nelia Orr. Holder of amateur radio call sign KM4UDZ. Orr graduated from Harvard University in 1983 with a degree in history and Russian literature. What? She's a commie? Just joking. She studied in this. I'm parroting Democrats. She studied in the Soviet Union. She honeymooned in Moscow. She studied in the Soviet Union in 1989 and obtained a PhD in Russian history in 1990. And she's married to Obama DOJ Bruce Orr. Wow. What other connections do we have to the commies? Just joking. Obviously, I'm being facetious. For this, I'm parroting. I'm, you know, channeling the Democratic Party. For those of you who may be tempted to read the 400-page plus PhD thesis here, to read her 400-page plus thesis, here's a spoiler alert. In murdering untold millions, Joseph Stalin may have engaged in some excesses, which, in her words, sometimes represented desperate measures taken by government that had little real control over the country. What? Translated into simple English, she meant, hey, cut the guy some slack. Creating a proletarian paradise can be tough and anybody can get carried away. Oh my God. Wow. That's insane. I never get like the people who, there are people who defend Stalin and I just don't even take time to even offer a rebuttal. I'm just like, whoa. That's really crazy. That's really, you got to be really nuts. You're going to defend Stalin? Like, this isn't like a coach. They're like, well, you know, he went on it on 4th and 1. I mean, what do you want? It was only 3 minutes left. He had to do it. No, you're talking about millions and millions and tens of millions murdered in gulags. It's insane. So She is fluent in the Russian language and an expert on cybersecurity. Her husband is Bruce Orr, the former #4 official in President Obama's Justice Department. According to a sworn court filing by Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson, she was hired by that firm to conduct opposition research on behalf of the Clinton campaign against candidate Trump. In his statement, Simpson acknowledged bank records reflect that Fusion GPS contracted with her to, quote, help our company with its research and analysis of Mr. Trump. What would Nellie Orr know about Trump? That's bizarre. At the same time, Fusion GPS retained the services of former British spy and FBI informant Christopher Steele to obtain derogatory information from his Russian sources about Trump. The final Fusion GPS product became the now discredited eponymous Steele dossier, which James Comey's FBI and Obama DOJ used to obtain a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant to spy on Trump campaign. Who are Nellie and Bruce Orr? So this is a fantastic article from George Perry. A really, really amazing article. I'll give you the article here. I'll continue. 944 people watching. John Lee. What number is Orr now? Number 2 comes to mind. He's been demoted to a much a more subordinate position. But John Lee, thank you so very much, John. Thank you. Okay, so the so-called Nunes memorandum by the Republican majority in the House Intelligence Committee states Nellie Orr was employed by Fusion GPS to assist in the cultivation of opposition research on Trump. Well, which one is it? This is the problem with Democrats and this whole soft coup, media-driven, deep state-driven, failed attempt at removing Trump. Is it opposition research or is it actually intelligence? Because when James Comey was like, I don't have to worry about, who leaked the Steele dossier, it's not even classified. Then why did you use it to start an investigation that now you say Trump is trying to obstruct? Everything is classified but the Steele dossier. Everything, this is interesting, everything surrounding the Steele dossier is classified except the actual Steele dossier, which points to an overt cover-up and fabrication. If every single thing around the Steele dossier, and if the Steele dossier has led to BuzzFeed suing the DNC, you have a real big problem, big issue. It also came out that Bruce Orr failed to report the source of his wife's income from Fusion GPS on his DOJ ethics disclosure form. Wow. Such disclosure is mandatory, so they're going to ask him that. And Orr's omission raises many questions. And of course, he'll come up with some kind of amazing answer. Why did Nellie Orr suddenly become a ham in 2016? Orr is a member of the Women in International Security, which describes itself as supporting, quote, research projects. Yeah, soft coups, spying on people, breaking laws. Research projects and policy engagement initiatives on critical, just joking, totally being facetious. Okay, chillax. Of course, I'm being facetious 100%, which describes itself as supporting research projects and policy engagement initiatives on critical international security issues, including the nexus between gender and security. Interesting. She has done cybersecurity consultant for Accenture, political consultant. All right, so it is apparent that between her own professional experience and her marriage to a top DOJ official, she was well aware of the ability of the National Security Agency to intercept and store every communication on the internet. Did this knowledge have anything to do with her midlife decision to become a ham radio operator and communicate outside cyberspace? The best would be if the NSA is like, ha, we can go ahead and track ham radios. Loser. Apparently they can't. I got into amateur radio because it was a zit-infested teenager with no hope of ever successfully interacting with members of the opposite sex. Faced with that reality, I sublimated my pre-epic energies into learning electronics and building radios. My sublimated adolescent urges were so strong that on several occasions I almost invented the internet to That's hilarious. My sublimated adolescent urges were so strong that on several occasions I almost invented the internet 20 years before the Pentagon and Al Gore got around to it. Oh my God. Oh, this is great. This is great. I'm reading this. So I'm reading this article right here. Read along with me. I'm towards the end of the article. Okay, so here. Lawrence F. Thank you, Lawrence F. Lawrence F. I commented about the couple 3 months ago, stated they were double agents for China and Russia. Look at them. Really look at them. It's obvious they are the oddest couple since Tony Randall and Jack Klugman. Thank you, Lawrence. Well, the ham radio issue is a problem. The ham radio issue is a problem. Lawrence F. Your statement relates directly to the ham radio in my mind, because if you suddenly like, oh, I really need all these file cabinets and I'm throwing away all my computers, I guess that would be, I think that the main thing is if you can circumvent modern surveillance and you're then involved with, they're not just opposition research, this is espionage. So Lawrence, you're right. It's Fusion GPS is more in line with an espionage entity, an entity engaged in espionage, as opposed to opposition research, because you're utilizing the whole thing. This is essentially an espionage case. He's working with the Russians. It's the stupidest thing in the world, which is why when they do lose the midterms, we can all laugh out loud. The espionage, the uranium sale, the private server, the connections to Russia, the speaking fees, the money flowing into the Clinton Foundation, all of these issues were on their side, not Trump's. They just hate Trump because of his personality. That's really all they hate Trump about. Lawrence F., thank you very, very, very much. Let me just finish this. So, what was happening when Nellie Orr got her license? So, did she get her license 10 years ago or in 2016? On May 23rd, 2016, she received a technician-level amateur radio license. Why would Nellie Orr want to engage in becoming a ham radio operator? Could it be that the NSA can't track or, can't easily spy on ham radio operators? The timing is significant. The presidential campaign was underway, and she and her employer Fusion GPS were digging up dirt in Russia to use against Trump, which is so stupid too, because which is so utterly stupid also, because it's like it did help in deceiving millions, but at the same time, it's not sustainable. Lawrence F., thank you so very much, Lawrence. Thank you. So let's go continue with this. Given her cybersecurity knowledge, was Nellie Orr hoping to use a non-cyber shortwave communications to hide her participation in the nefarious effort from the NSA? Recall that in early 2016, NSA head Admiral Michael Rogers became aware of ongoing and intentional violations and abuse of FISA surveillance, which she subsequently exposed before Congress. That's right. Therefore, pressure mounted within the Obama administration to fire him. The week after the presidential election, he was facing removal from his post. Rogers visited the president-elect at Trump Tower. On November 19, 2016, Reuters reported that Rogers' decision to travel to New York to meet with Trump on Thursday without notifying superiors caused consternations at senior levels of the Obama administration. Nice. The day following, and Rogers also stated that not one vote was altered. This is in congressional testimony. Not one vote was altered. Not one vote was altered in the swing states in 2016. The day following Rogers' visit, the president-elect's transition team vacated Trump Tower and moved its operations to New Jersey. Was this because Rogers had warned Trump that he and his administration, he and his transition team were being subjected to illegal government surveillance? While that is unknown, it is clear that Rogers was not and has never been an Obama team player, such that he and his agency posed a potential threat to Fusion GPS. So when the NSA said it was moderately confident, it broke ranks. Moderately confident is not enough to start an investigation. Actually, no confidence level is enough to start any investigation. Lawrence F., thank you again. So, was this because, okay, so was Nellie Ohr's late-in-life foray into ham radio an effort to evade the Rogers-led NSA detecting her participation in compiling the Russian source Steele dossier, just as her husband's omission in his DOJ ethics form raised an inference of improper motive? Any competent prosecutor could use the circumstantial evidence of her taking up ham radio while digging for dirt on Trump to prove her consciousness of guilt and intention to conceal illegal activities. This type of circumstantial evidence can be quite powerful. For example, a video of a nun buying a bustier at Victoria's Secret would be direct evidence that she was having an affair. But it most assuredly would would not be direct evidence that she was having an affair, but it would most assuredly prompt a jury to seriously wonder about her motives and commitment to celibacy. That's the same can be said for Nellie's ham license. Just what was she up to? Undoubtedly, further information on this topic will be forthcoming. But in the meantime, it is fair to ask the ham vernacular of yesteryear. And that's Morse code for WTF. So George Perry is awesome. He has a blog at knowledgeisgood.net. So I am going to check out that blog. And he is awesome. So you have people comparing Pearl Harbor and 9/11 to the DNC hack. These people are completely and utterly out of their minds. These people are completely and utterly out of their minds. Here is the Federalist article again. And it's a really great article. And it's like, it's unbelievable. Why would, so ham radios. So can ham radios be traced, be tracked? Can someone track you? Okay, so good luck tracking this, big brother. Oh, here's an article. Okay, so it's no secret that traditional grid-dependent communication tools such as cell phones, landline phones, internet, and email suffer significant outages during even minor disasters. Yet by sending and receiving information during the grid down disaster scenarios critical. Do you have a backup plan? Two-way radios. So citizen. Okay, so band radios. Morse code. So ham. Am I? This is not that. All right, so okay, so Florida Ham issued $25,000 fine for operating an unlicensed radio. Wow. Wow, and interfering with licensed communication. Okay, can you operate? Why is this? Can ham radios be? Ham radio, the easy way. Spy escape and evasion. Spies using ham radios? Well, looky-doo. Look what we have here. Ten alleged Russian spies. What is it, 1920s? No, 1920 years technology. So wait a second. This is 2010. And when like they say like the racists are, oh my God, the counter protesters outnumbered them. Yeah, because the vast majority in America are not insane racists. So like, what does that even mean? The vast majority would outnumber even 25 years ago. They would be outnumbered. It's like, so. So now, hold on one second. There's actually a Slate article. So, and the Russians are still here. This is a Slate article. And despite last week's arrest, both Russian and Cuban numbers transmissions continue to be deemed daily to someone. So they're more sleeper agents quietly. This is in 2010. Gee, who was president in 2010? Shortwave radio signals. Wow. So this is a Slate article. Very interesting. Very interesting. Talking about how Russian spies were using shortwave radios. Interesting. The shortwave radio signals that the alleged Russian, this is under Obama, alleged Russian spies were using are still surprisingly effective. So so I mean, it's like, okay, so Obama. Pretty much So if you look at Fusion GPS dossier cabal was using spy tradecraft. This is an American Thinker article. Nellie Orr applied for a ham radio license May 23rd, 2016. Oh my God. It lists. Oh my God. So this is craziness and nuts. This is just really craziness and nuts. Tree climbing. Thank you, tree climbing. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, tree climbing. Thank you. Lawrence F. She's a spy. It's like getting a pilot license and learning how not to. Oh my God. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and well, Lawrence, she could either be a spy or I believe just, you know, one of the people in this saga that might not have taken direct orders from Hillary, but did everything possible to help Clinton and hurt Trump. She could have simply been in on everything, and she didn't want the NSA to know that she was actively trying this media-driven, deep state-driven coup where it was like, oh, this dossier says that, you know, he got urinated on, and oh yeah, so. Which is funny too, because it's like, who are they talking to? Did they actually have people that they were actually like actual Russian? Because like source A is supposed to be a Russian intelligence officer still working. Were they stupid enough to actually get fake and phony testimonies from these people? Because then those people can be tracked. So it's like so crazy. Lawrence, what is that on the profile? Is that it looks like a 1911. I don't know. It's a semi-auto. I don't know which. They're like a 1911. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you. She could be a spy. She could be just Glenn Simpson, Christopher Steele type person. Eric Neff. Hillary sends her love. Thank you, Eric Neff. Thank you, Eric Neff. Thank you. And so, let's see. So, it's out. And Washington Post, citing no evidence. Trump accuses Obama of Nixon and Watergate plot, citing no evidence, except citing every single bizarre, well, the Steele dossier, actually, the evidence there is the Steele dossier is not, should never have been used as evidence. So that, the utilization of the Steele dossier as evidence is evidence that there were crimes committed. You can't just simply go ahead and allow Hillary Clinton to purchase something and create her own investigation. So stupid. So hold on. Ham radio spies. So it has, yeah. Mm-hmm. The spy radio that anyone can hear. The stupidly simple spy messages no computer could decode. This is interesting. And the author also goes through the same. The buzz itself carries no message at all. It's a channel marker. A kind of beacon that tells people they've landed on the right station and to wait for a message. The buzz itself is like the product of a simple circuit board set up to make a code. Wow. Every day, every hour, the world's spies send top secret information you can easily listen in on. Wowzers. That's like, I'm a fan of the old school. I love the old school. I love old school music. I love the old school in every way. What happened to file cabinets? I love file cabinets. Okay. I love file cabinets. You know, they need to ask Jim Jordan, and everyone simply need to ask Bruce Orr what his wife was doing. Like, did she become a trucker, or is she, you know, it's like, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty. So now, I mean, it's pretty, the secret's out regarding ham radios. Prawn D, ham radio is broadcast. You can't hide the occurrence of its transmission or the content, but you can encrypt. And unlike cell or internet, its user is hard to identify unless you actively search over a period of time. Interesting. So if you encrypted a ham radio transmission, it's like, oh my God. That would probably be Prawn D. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. That's interesting. I didn't even know you could encrypt that. I actually don't even know the ins and outs of encrypting, what that would entail to encrypt a ham radio. Wow. That is interesting. Thank you, Prawn D. Thank you. So not only this is crazy. Not only can you listen to this, can you just go ahead and engage in espionage via the ham radio if you really wanted to, if you were like, you know, but you could then encrypt the transmission? I don't know. This is craziness. Jim Jordan, please ask if you're in Ohio, or if you're in Mark Meadows or the Gomerization, or if you're in any district where these Republicans, Nunes, go ahead, write to them and say, ask him about his wife's ham. So it's craziness. But today, the Russians operate a large numbers network, both to communicate with spies and to send messages to military forces. Wow. Thanks, Obama. I'm kind of being facetious there, kind of, actually. Nelly Orr. We got your ham radio, Nelly Orr. You can't hide behind the ham radio, Nelly Orr. This is craziness. Wowzers. I love the old school. Papa D! International flights still use HF radio, I believe. Wow. That's the thing. Like, if you really want to go ahead and be, not that I would know, because I don't like the whole, like, the James Bond life. That would be, you know, if you're single and younger, interesting. But other than, like, if you're in your 40s and you're married, you have kids, they just know it wouldn't be fun to be a spy or anything. Papa D, only one code in World War II was never broken. Huh. Papa D. But like nowadays, to be like, there's nothing sexy about being a spy. It's like you're using a ham radio. You're working with Fusion GPS. Like, what is sexy about that? What is fun about that? Nothing. How about nothing? Now you're a spy, Christopher Steele, getting sued. Like, James Bond never got sued. James Bond never got sued. And then you have this, you know, political correct, like, you know, oh my God, you know, it's like the guy wouldn't be able to do anything. I have a martini. Oh, you know, just give me the water. Give me the Pellegrino. My blood pressure's up. Prawn D, thank you. Lawrence F, type in search engine President Clinton V-chip. President Clinton. President Clinton. Whatever happened to the V-chip? Sound and Furious around a V-chip development in the 1990s. President Clinton proclaimed its power to save TV. State of the Union, 1996, V-chip and the FCC TV. Popular mechanics. Long irrelevant, the small piece of software was once seen as a generational savior. I mean, something as simple as like a fake mustache. And there's like so many different ways to hide your identity that you wouldn't, you know, a hat. But in like espionage nowadays, it's probably like, it's probably the worst it's been to be a spy ever, because everything, the Democrats even destroyed that. Even the Democrats even destroyed that life. Even international spies are like, now we're all linked with Christopher Steele. Thank you again. Thanks, Hillary, for even destroying our lifestyle. Type in search engine President Clinton. Thank you, Lawrence. Mark Skog. In my best Jerry Reed, we got ourselves a super Obama spy convoy. Thank you. Thank you, Mark Skog. Thank you. And there were spies all throughout Obama's 8 years. I mean, it's like, you know, it's just, so here, Russian spy, Obama, I think it was 2000 what, 11? Was that 14? Bloomberg, Obama choked on Russia long before 2016 election. Oh my God. As reported in the 2011 for the Washington Times, Russia's intelligence services. Hold on one second. Oh, of course, they want you to subscribe. No, thank you. Oh, Anna Chapman. Telegraph was close to seducing Obama officials. If you are a official, you have to be pretty stupid to be seduced by a spy. I went into my whole spiel about, like, women don't generally approach men to hit on them or to, hey, what's your name? That doesn't happen. And if it happens to you and the woman has an accent, a Russian accent or whatever, if you're a government official or, you know, somebody with knowledge that maybe another country would want, and then a woman approaches you, it's not because of your personality. Okay? It's not because you're like really good looking or attractive. Because they want information to give to their spy handlers. She's got close enough to disturb us. Russian sleeper agents were ejected from the U.S. in July 2010. Well, that's bizarre. Because I thought that, wow, look at that. That's funny. That's the thing. It's like the Democrats, according to the Democrats, history only started when their latest CNN segment aired. Like, they don't realize that, you know, you can go to Google and then pretty much see everything that like took place. And also you can go to a library, God forbid, or maybe a library book sale, God forbid. You wouldn't want to do that and purchase a book published before 2013. You wouldn't want to do that. That's craziness. Why would you want to even, you know, go there? So whatever. Papa D. Ham's not allowed to use clandestine tools. Doesn't mean they can't. Oh. Okay. All right. Gotcha. So the protocol is not to just, you know, engage in that type of activity, but you could, I guess, if... Gotcha. Thank you, Papa D. Thank you. So, Russian spy Anna Chapman was close to seducing Obama official. Anna Chapman, the glamorous Russian spy, was close to seducing a sitting member of Barack Obama's cabinet. Close to seducing means very likely they engaged in activity that Bill Clinton said that he never did. Perhaps, possibly. I'm just being facetious. Okay, so the FBI agent says she got close enough to disturb us. How hard is it? Like, Anna Chapman, Russia spy, allegedly got close to Obama's inner circle. Wow. That's crazy. That would be 2 years after the uranium sale. How could that happen? President Obama was so tough on Russia. Well, here's one. The Register.uk. Anonymous develops secure data over ham radio. I'm going to start my own messenger pigeon espionage agency. And nobody will track it. It's crazy too, because Well, actually, the pigeon would like drop the message, and there goes. That would actually not be a good one. Or no, smoke signal, no, and then you cause a fire. No, that's bad too. Wow. Any new ostrich wear? Yeah, I just bought my $15,000 ostrich jacket. And that's the thing, like, you support Julian Assange, and I think Mrs. Christina Assange is one of the heroes in this world. Mrs. Christina Assange, Julian Assange's mother, she's just absolutely wonderful. And she was just talking on Twitter now about, you know, how MAGA supporters can help Julian Assange. And so, yeah, I'm just looking at this. So it's just like, so it's really interesting. The incriminating, like, if you're not using a server outside the government, James Woods again. All right. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very, very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will call it a little break. And I will be back very soon to my super chat. Thank you so very, very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. See you soon. We'll do one in a couple of hours. And have a great day. Have a safe day. And thank you. Thank you again. It's been a great, great segment.